Conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous topics? Okay, we are into enhancements, and in our previous classes we discussed about user exits, and then we have seen customer exits. And today we are going to discuss about baddie. So user exit, which is only we have for SD module, and user exits technically subroutines. Customer exits are technically function modules, and customer exits are available for all modules. All modules in the sense including SD as well. So if anybody says I work for a module or I work for enhancement which is related to SAP sales under customer exit, it is valid because customer exits are available for all modules. But if someone says I work for a material management related enhancement and that is I implemented in a user exit, then it's not correct because we don't have any places provided by SAP as part of user exits for other modules MM, FI, HR. So you need to be very careful when you are saying something which we have worked, you need to explain clearly. So subroutine function modules difference we know. Subroutines we don't have exception handling, and in function modules we have exception handling. Those are self-executable, lot of advantages, and that is what technically differences. So these are places, a place where SAP given. And why we are going to baddie? We already have SAP provided places, user exit, customer exit for all modules. Then why we need to go to baddie? Because of problem. What is the problem? So when using customer exit, what you are doing, if you have a requirement, let's say sales order level, we need to populate a delivery block. This is what requirement one. And to achieve this, to populate delivery block, we have identified a place that is a customer exit. Let's say exit SAP MF 02D. So this is the place which SAP provided. By using this place, we can populate default values to sales order level delivery block. Now we have used this place and then implemented logic VBAK LIFSK equal to 0. So this is the logic we have placed inside this exit. Then whenever sales order going to create, this place will be called, and then a logic inside this place which makes delivery block set immediately without any manual interaction. Then we got another requirement in the same sales order process. What is that requirement? Whenever end user is going to place an order with a quantity less than 10, then we have to stop that order, saying that for this particular part, at least you have to enter 10 quantity. We should not allow user to proceed with only 5 quantity. Then this is one more requirement. Usually standard SAP, they don't have this kind of restrictions. with quantity 1, 2, it will allow. But our business saying that we need to restrict. We should not allow end users to place the order if the order is having a quantity of 5 hard disks, something like that. So at least 10 parts they have to place. Then this is one more logic. Then we need a place to implement. Then we identify a customer exit, the same customer exit. Then in this customer exit, I have to implement this logic. Then what I'll do, I'll write some checks like if quantity less than 10, then I'll put error. So this is what another logic. So how many logics now in a exit? There are two logics. But the problem here is when you are creating a first requirement to place this logic, you are going to create a project in CMOD transaction. So in CMOD transaction, what you will do to implement this logic, you will create a project. So in this project, you will go and implement your logic. This is first logic. And when second requirement comes, again the developer wanted to use this place, system will not accept to create one more project because this is the restriction. So if I wanted to create one more project using the same exit and implementing my second logic, system will not accept. For one exit, only one project. So it is not possible to create one more project and place my logic. Then what should I do? I have to go to the first project only, and in this project only my second logic I have to enter. And what will happen if this is the behavior? Whenever requirements comes, if the requirements pointing to this exit, everybody has to use the same project. Then what is the issue? So you have your logic that is present, and when sales order is called, your logic also getting triggered. Then what is the problem? The problem is this place will execute all other logics, which means a first logic will trigger, second logic will trigger, and whatever other logics you will implement, that will also will trigger, which means every logic which is written inside this project will gets triggered, which means unnecessary time we were wasting, because whenever a sales order is executed, there are requirements, specific requirements. So that requirement related logic only it has to call. Unnecessary, it should not call any other logic. And one more problem, if other developers are doing changes into the same project, then there may be a chance they can disturb the previous logics as well unknowingly. If they disturb, what will happen? That functionalities will never work and it create a mess. So there is a problem with these projects. The problem is for one place only one project we can create. We should not create multiple projects. That is the problem. So because of that, all logics will be kept in one place, and every time this all the logics should work. And also sometimes if developer without understanding the functionality of the logic implemented, if we disturb any existing logic, then entire logic what is present in the project that will not work. So that is the challenging part using exits. That's where SAP implemented another place, that is BADI. So BADI technically it's a interface. Interface is object oriented concept. What is interface? Interface is a template class, like a class. It has attributes, methods, but without any implementation. So interface are reusable. So this interface technique they have used and created a place, and that place they named it as BADI. Now what is the advantage with BADI over this customer exits or user exits is your place will be used multiple times, which means if you have a place like this, you can create multiple projects without any issues. Each project will work independently. So you don't need to write in one place all the logic. So individual places you can create. If there is a place under body, so this place by using you can create multiple projects. Multiple projects means individual logic you can write. That is what the advantage with body. But body is available for all transactions. And is there any issues with the body? Yes. First thing, body is not available for all transactions. Second thing, during the upgrade times, whatever logic you present, you written inside this body will not be moved to, will not be kept in the system. It will be removed. So that is one more challenge with the body. So user exit, customer exit, body. All these are places which we are going to use based on the scenarios what we received from the business. And business then will never ever come to you saying that use user exit, customer exit or body. That is your choice which one you will take, but at the end we need to fulfill the requirement. And your fulfillment also it has to be future ready. If you have user exit, customer exit, body for a requirement, you have to choose body over exits. You should not go and write your logic inside the exits. Now, to understand this body, we will see some examples and how do we find out a body and how do we implement a body. Those things also we will check. Let me log in into system. So first of all, I wanted to find out a body for what? Um, let's say VA01 transaction, sales order creation transaction. Okay. So there is a problem with this server. Let me connect to another server. Is this the previous server or the new one? Let me check. Hmm. Order type OR, customer. Now we need to enter some material. Quantity to. We need data. So let me check. Do we have any data in system? We don't have records. XD01 customer transaction. So we need data if you wanted to triggers our requirement. KNA1 customer master table. Do we have data in this? 35 records are there. What else are the transaction? VL01N delivery. We don't have sales order itself, then how come we can do the delivery? No. So sales operations we cannot perform, we don't have data. Then what else? Purchase order, ME22. Give me a second, let me connect it to hard disk. Excuse me. The problem with the enhancements, whenever we discussed, our students will do a practice, and when they did the practice, they didn't follow the basic rules. System will be corrupted, and when we ask server support team, they will format the system. When they did the format, everything will be vanished, even data also. So again, it is a problem with the data and then practice. So here, what is the transaction which we have used? XK02 for vendor. Do we have data or not? Let me check. Okay, there are 30 entries are present. So this is vendor transaction. Vendor means who supplies raw materials. Okay, so we have a vendor where this is vendor address information, and vendor has details: postal code, country, time zone, region. For example, if I remove this region and save, before that, let me copy this business partner, which is nothing but vendor, save it, enter. So now order is saved, vendor is saved without any region. So now what we do, we need to stop this behavior, which means if there is a vendor without any region, we should not allow to create or change any vendor. We have to stop and say region is mandatory per vendor. Then how can we achieve this? This is a standard SAP application. Whatever we see is standard SAP application. Then how can we implement this logic in the standard SAP application? We used to find the place first. So whenever we find out the place, then only we can implement our logic. Now, how do we find a place? First, customer exit, user exit. We will execute and then check for the places for this transaction code. Let me come back. So first, how do we identify user exit? Go to SE93, enter transaction code, display, get the main program, and then go to main program, SE38, display, and here wherever you have user exit, go inside that and then search user exit. Exit. So in this way, manually you need to execute and then see what are all the user exits are available. So this is a user exit, and you need to go inside and then check for the available places. If there is any available places, when you click on this spiral symbol, system it will show you with some highlighted lines like this between the subroutines, because user exits are subroutines within the form and end form, you can see. And then right click and then place a breakpoint, and you need to check verify whether in this place vendor related information is coming or not. So that is the next action. So in this way you will identify user exits. And what is the way we will find out the customer exits? So to identify the customer exits, again we need to execute SC93 transaction and enter transaction code for which we wanted to find out the place. Now you need to take the package for customer exits and then go to smart transaction. Now here click on this F4 help and enter your package and click continue. So now you can see there are no objects matched the selection criteria. What it says, which means there are no customer exits are available for this package, which means we don't have customer exits. Then how do we identify baddies? If you wanted to identify baddie, again you need to go to this SC93 and then get the package. So copy the package. Now go to SC18. Remember, transaction code is SC18, and select baddie name and click F4 and then click here new selection, and here enter your package and then click on continue. So now you can see these are the list of baddies available, and in this if you can see there are different baddies with descriptions are available. And now how do we know which place is suitable for our requirement? Either through going with the description we can identify, and another way is select any baddie. Let's say vendor add data. If I am selecting this, now go to display, and then you can see this is interface. It's a baddie is a interface, and interface basically what it has methods without any implementation. So these are all methods without any implementation. Implementation means there is no logic inside, it's just a declaration. There is no method and there is no logic. If you double click, nothing will display because this is interface. Now in this interface method we have different methods. Final checks, save data, check whether the data changed or not, initialization checks, read data, check vendor number, external, default values, LFB1, LFM1. So there are so many different methods we have. So in these methods, you need to find out which method which helpful for you. So our requirement is we need to stop user not to save when region is blank. Then it's look like save data method. But in save data method, what we need this region information. Then only you can confirm whether region is blank or reason is having some value. Then what we need to do, we need to verify this method parameters, inputs, what are the inputs it is taking. So double click on this save data. Now in this save data method, there are two things. What is that? Activity and listener is vendor number. So these are what importing parameters for this method. And in this particular entire interface, what are all the other attributes we have? So we don't have any other attributes. So we will be getting what? In the save data method, we will be getting vendor number. So vendor number we are receiving, but along with the vendor number, what we need? We need account details, we need region information. So we are not able to see here, but let we need to check in the program mode, debugging level, whether we are getting data or not. So how can we verify that? So to verify that, you have to use this body and then implement this body and place a breakpoint in this body and then execute your application and see whether this is coming or not. If it is coming, then we need to check what is the data which is taking from the screen. So how can we do this? You need to copy this body name and then go to transaction SC19, and here you need to provide new body or classic body. So how do we know which body this is? In SC18 itself, you can see this body definition level, body name, display. So this is multiple use. So multiple use body means it's a new body. Whenever you see here multiple, then we can say this is a new body. Remove this and here enter this body name, vendor add data, and click on create. Now you need to specify your enhancement implementation name, Z vendor enhancement, and short text enhancement for vendor address check, and click on continue. Save as local object. Now here provide the body implementation and implementation class details. So body implementation Z vendor region check implementation class. So I'll be using the same G vendor region, but here I'll add GCL. This is my class name, vendor region. And a body definition we need to choose, that is vendor add data. This is the body, and then click on continue. Save as local object. Now body implementation, which is done. Now this is what the implementation class. Where is this implementation? Double click on this implementation class. Now this is your implementation class. So if you wanted to use an interface, you have to create a class, and then inside the class you have to use your interface. Then you can copy interface methods into your class, and then through the class you can implement all the methods whatever you want. So that is what we are doing. So this is the class we have created, and this is the interface we are using, X vendor add data. So when we are using this interface, whatever methods are there inside that interface, those will be coming into here. Now if you wanted to use any one of the method, you can implement and then use it. So I need save data method, double click. So this is interface. Let's go back. So here save data, double click. Interface method was not implemented. You need to create the implementation. Yes. Now here just place a breakpoint, break hyphen point, pretty print, and save. And then check, activate, enter. So now this is activated. These are all warnings, ignore it. Now go back and activate enhancement implementation. What happened? This is why it is become inactive. Enhancement implementation. Select this and then activate. Now go back. So whatever we created enhancement implementation G, what is that? Vendor. What is the implementation we created? Z vendor enhancement. This is what the implementation we created. So go to change mode. So this is active, but double click here. Interface methods are not implemented. Technical details. Save data. So we have it is active, and enhancement implementation also active. I don't know. So sometimes it is become inactive, sometimes active. Now let me see. Vendor enhancement. This is what we implemented. Status. So it seems to be active only. Implementation will be called runtime behavior also. It says implementation will be called. Now let me test this whether this will trigger or not. How can we test? Go to xk02, change vendor, and I'm going to change this vendor details. Just enter. So it is redirected to BP as xk02 is obsolete. So now let me do some changes here. Street. I'm changing street and then save. Continue. Okay, so it is not calling this baddie which we have implemented. So if our baddie which is get called as part of this T code, then we can do the changes. But the thing is, we have implemented but the implementation is not getting called. So we cannot do any changes using this place. So this is how you need to identify. So first you need to find out the place using SC93 and then go to SC18 and identify the baddies. So we do have list of baddies, and from that list of baddies you need to execute SC19 transaction and then implement that baddie and then call a transaction. If the transaction is getting triggered and then which is calling your baddie, then you can implement your logic. But here in this particular scenario, which is not getting called, so you cannot implement this particular enhancement. And also we observed SK02 is obsolete. We have BP transaction, right? So let me see for BP related any baddies are available. How do we know? Go to SC93 and enter transaction code BP, and then for this is the package, copy. Now go to SC18, baddie name, execute, click on information system, provide package, continue. So now you can see these are all the places which is given by SAP for business partner related. So by looking at the document descriptions, we may understand for what they have given, or by looking at by going inside of this baddies, we can see with the methods importing exporting parameters. So business partner category, number group, initial screen, so filter, none of them seems to be useful for us. So this is business partner category. If I go to technical details, then I can see implementations, interface. So this is partner categories allowed for non-update roles. This is something different whether the category is allowed or not. Do we have any other examples in baddie in our PPT? Think we have only one vendor. Hmm, MC94 is what? Let me check MC94 also. So this is used for planning type. Let me check, is there any baddie available for this IW51 transaction? Package, copy, and then SC18. F4 information system package continue. Oh, so many baddies are there. Okay, we will see one example in this IW51. There are many baddies are available. I'll check which baddie is suitable for our requirement. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue because of this lacking of data within the system due to the format of the system. We are unable to proceed. There are many roadblocks we have today, and tomorrow we will see with one example. I'll try to make some data available in the, and then we will continue understanding this baddie concept. And because this is very very important, that's why I'm taking time to understand more. If you have any questions, you can ask me related to the baddie because this is a very very important topic. Any doubts so far today? Okay, if no questions, we will wind up for today. Thank you. Bye. What you are not getting, Sivaram? So I don't understand. So server details you are not receiving or what? A new server, formatted server. The KN1 details currently whichever you are using, that server is no use. That is crashed. So ask server team to create a new server and assign that to you, and let them know I'm unable to practice. Hmm. Tell him I'm unable to practice due to the existing server. Every time it is going for dump, I'm unable to practice it. So I discussed with sir and he told me to connect with you and get a new server. Ask them to provide another server where there are no issues. Okay, that they can only do it. I cannot help on that. I'll also just message them. I already informed them several times to provide a new server to the students because they will not proceed and practice due to these issues. I don't know. They said to me, okay, sir, we will do it. But again, I'll connect with them and I'll remind them whether it is done or not. But you can also ask them clearly inform them we are unable to practice with the server. Every time it is going for dump. There is no use with this server. If you are saying like this, then only they'll respond. Okay. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Bye.